All right, so we are starting writing week. These are your two prompts. What I would like you, these are your two major packets. What I would like you to do right now is have them on your desk so you are looking at both of them at the same time. It's on my sign. We are in week 13, by the way. If it sounds like I'm cranky, I'm not cranky. I'm just ready to play. We have writing week and we have not started. This is an issue. Peyton, what? I have no idea. Look, I have no idea, sweetie. Look, you're more than welcome to. I haven't seen anything. Okay, so you have period 2 and period 3 in front of you. Okay? So what you're going to do, just looking at them with me at this moment. Now, what is going to happen is that the reason why this is a big year is because this is a whole new exam. No one has ever taken this exam before. AP has only provided 3 examples of what your exam is going to look like. That's not a lot of information for teachers like me. The good thing is it's very similar to a push. So once we learn this, it's going to be really easy for you to shift next year. However, no one really exactly knows how it's going to pan out. So we have to make certain predictions and certain expectations. I've been stressed about this for 2 years. I'm trying to do my best. So, out of the 3 examples the AP has released, this is what I've come out of it. Okay, so if you look at period 2 and period 3, have them next to each other, please. Okay, question 1 has a quote and 3 questions about it: before, after, and larger context. Period 2, quote, question before, after, and larger context. Every of the 3 tests they released, it is a quote, before, after, world context. Does that make sense? So, what you're seeing here of these 4 examples, turn to question 2 on both packets, please. You're seeing what I've seen as the trends. Question 2, in all topics, in all 3 examples, has been the same. Okay, identify and explain 3 ways in which rulers legitimize or consolidate their power during whatever time period. Okay, it's been the same on all 3 exams they've released. The thing is, I don't know if that's how it's going to be for your exam. I have no idea. However, that's what they've done, so you will always see that as one of your questions. Question 3 is always based on an image of some sort. Question 1 has always been based on a quote. Question 3 has always been based on an image. 3, they're going to ask you 1 factor that enabled, 1 factor that hindered, and how does that affect something else. Okay? So question 3 has always been based on images. And finally, if you turn to question 4 on the very back, every time they've done, of all 3 examples they've released, they have also done 2 conflicting primary sources, and you have to analyze each and then compare them and bring them together and come up with an argument. These are your 4 short essays. Of the 3 examples I've been given, these are the consistencies. This is what I'm going to teach because I feel pretty confident in talking to other AP World teachers. This is how they're attacking it as well. Okay? Hopefully you see this is stimulus-based, which means they provide you something. Except for 1. 2 is totally off the top of your head. There's no prompt, there's no hint, nothing. In your pictures, there's information. In your primaries, there's information that if you don't know it, you can at least hash it out. Okay? When you're dealing with these questions, you have 4 that are like this. These answers are going to be about 3 paragraphs each, long paragraphs. Okay? For every question, that's 1 paragraph. 1 paragraph, 1 paragraph, but they're just going to be lengthy, so 3. So, section 1 is your multiple choice. You're going to have about 1 hour and 10 minutes to answer that, which is way generous. Last year, they had to do it in 55 minutes. You're going to have an extra 15 minutes. That's like life-changing. It's so much easier, and everyone hates you who've taken this exam before. Okay? So, section 2 is your short answers. You get 4 questions that we are expecting to be formatted just like this. Then you get a quick break. Then you have your 2 long essays. Your next writing week, I'm going to introduce probably your DBQ. Maybe. I haven't decided yet because I'm already behind and I'm already flustered. Okay, so this is the format of your essays. How this week is going to work. I am going to do period 2 with you right now. Period 2, question 1. This weekend for homework, you are responsible for doing question 1, period 3. I'm going to teach you how to set it up and how to format it. You are going to fill out the information and bring it to class. It is due on Monday. Is everyone clear on that? It is due on Monday. I am going to plan out the essay with you for period 2, and I'm going to start writing it. I did not finish first. I'm expecting to almost finish with you because I do have an extra 10 minutes. Okay, so whatever I don't finish a period 2, 1, you finish for homework. Whatever I don't finish or 2, you finish, you are absolutely writing 3. If I can get to question 2 today, your life is better. Because it's better to have stay up and work all day Sunday than staying up till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning writing essays. Can we agree? So the faster you move, the faster you answer my questions, the faster you give me evidence, the more I write, which means the more you sleep. Is everyone clear on that? If you are thinking with me, working with me, you will sleep. If you are slow, I'm not going to sit here and regurgitate these answers. You're not just going to sit here. You have to think with me. Everyone's clear on that. The faster you work, the better your life is. Okay, period 2, question 1. Everyone understands exactly what they have for homework this weekend, correct? Monday you have your continuities and change due. You have this question due and period 3. And if we can get to question 2 and that will be due, that's also better. Okay, here's question 1. Question 1 refers to the passage below. Trade and exchange across cultural lines have played a crucial role in human history, being perhaps the most important external stimuli to change. External stimulation has been the most important single source of change and development in art, science, and technology. Perhaps this goes without saying, since no human group could have invented itself more than a small part of its culture and technical heritage. Philip Curtin, 1984. Okay, what is he saying? What is he saying? Read. Okay, but what about trade? Help him out, Micah.
Seeing that trade has helped advance human societies.
Okay, trade is important. We've got it. What about trade? What about trade, Sophia? Okay, cultural lines. What the hell does that mean, Sophia?
It's going into different cultures.
What does it mean, Lauren?
It's studying cultures, so it develops.
Guys, simplify. Cultures, moving cultures, influencing cultures. What does that mean at the very basic of it? Dean?
Trade causes an exchange of culture and exchange.
Okay, no. Okay, so external stimulation means what? Simplify it. Don't use the words. Don't keep telling me trade. External stimulation means what? Dean? Okay. What does that mean? When in this context, what does it mean?
So that when other groups come into a state or trade into a state.
What does that mean?
That causes an effect that develops.
Max, what does it mean?
The cultures that are going in are
What does it mean? No, no one's helping. No one's like, oh my God, let me go help them. No. Cheyenne.
Cultural diffusion.
No. Lily. Inter-regional trade is what that is, people. Inter-regional trade. What is inter-regional trade? Maya, what is inter-regional trade? Trade with what? What is interregional trade? What is interregional, Isabella?
It's like different regions trading.
Different regions are trading. So if different regions are trading, are they exchanging culture? Are they exchanging ideas? Yes. You need to be able to read a primary source and figure out exactly what it's saying. So is he saying interregional trade a good thing or a bad thing? It's a good thing. Interregional trade is a good thing. That is the foundation of this primary source. What specifically is a good thing about interregional trade based on Curtin? What? Good. Patel.
Are we the development of art, science?
Yes, art, science, and technology. Thank you. Okay, so when you look at the primary source, you need to figure out what is he saying. External stimulation. External stimulation is interregional trade. Interregional trade, he said, is a good thing. This whole essay is based on how interregional trade has affected art, science, and technology. Okay, so everything we respond to is going to be about how art, science, and technology is based on interregional trade. Okay, everyone understand how we got there? Okay, identify and explain one change or development before 600 BCE that would support the author's assertion above. What is his assertion? What is his assertion, Micah?
The interregional trade helped advance art, science, technology.
There you go. Exactly what we just figured out. So we know what he's asserting. However, what is before 600 BCE? What is pre-600 BCE? What period is it, Adrian? No. What period is pre-600 BCE? Period 1. Period 1. What? Identify and explain two changes or development after 600 CE. What period is after 600 CE? Vanessa. No. What period is after 600 CE? Emily. Period 3. You need to know your dates. You need to know your periodization. If you don't know it, everything you say is wrong. And it's going to sound really harsh when I just say no. No. It's because on that AP exam, if you are using your wrong periodization, everything you've written is wrong. You have literally wasted your time, your reader's time, and your time in AP World if you don't know your dates. Is that clear? These essays are worth 50%. If you nail your multiple choice, but you don't know your periodization, you have failed AP World. You need to know your dates. Identify and explain one reason why trade increased in the period of 600 BCE to 600 CE. What is that period? Isabella? Period 2. So, in this one question, we have period 1, period 3, and period 2. In one question, you have to keep things separate from period 1, period 2, and period 3. If you put something under period 2, when in fact it's period 3, it's completely wrong. They will not score a single thing. If you don't know your periodization, you will get everything wrong, and it will be a 0. This is half your exam. Okay, so identify and explain one change or development before 600 BCE that would support. So this is support. What is this supporting? Supporting interregional trade, intertrade. Okay, and this is period 1. So what is examples of interregional trade from period 1 that focuses on art, science, and technology? So what is something interregionally being spread that is either an art, a science, or a technology in period 1? Patel.
They had the cave drawings to like put the stories.
How was that interregional?
It was like their development when they used tools and stuff like that.
How are you going to explain that? No. Adrian.
The Phoenicians alphabet.
Phoenician alphabet. Fantastic. Okay, what would that fall under? Science, art, science, or technology? Phoenician alphabet would work. Okay, now it's a little bit tricky because the Phoenicians are in what region, Adrian?
The Middle East.
They're in the Middle East. Okay, however, they're going to spread to where? Europe is going to be a little bit tough to sell. You're not wrong, but you have to remember, you have to be able to explain this with full certainty and clarity, which means if you're going to Middle East to what will eventually become Europe, is there a civilization that's immediately welcoming the Phoenicians? You can say it went to this specific people? No, so it's not a great example. Is it right? Absolutely. But is it good to justify something you cannot do end to end? No. What's another example? Dean.
Like this Sanskrit or the Mesopotamian language, how that went to Phoenicia and then they developed
Where are you going to spread it?
to Phoenicia.
Inter-regional
So
trade.
that's-
You want big gaps, people.
Mesopotamia to Phoenicia.
No, they're right next door. They're both in the Middle East. Inter-regional. Look on my back wall, people. Look on my back wall. You may not appreciate my crazy, but it's there. East Asia, you got period 1, 2, and 3. Everything is broken down by periods. If you don't know your periodization, it does not work. Everything on my back wall is broken down by periods. It's also broken down by regions. So you need to tell me a piece of art, science, or technology that has gone from one group in period 1 on one sheet of paper to another one on a separate sheet of paper. Lily. What? Bronze. Yes. Bronze is a big one. Where is it starting, Lily? The Shang. And they are where? What region? Don't tell me China. China's not a region. Asia. What region? East Asia. Okay, it's going to Shang. Then it's going where? Because it has to be interregional and it has to be connective. Max. No. Mesopotamia is literally next door. What is a perfect example of interregional trade that works for bronze? There is literally one civilization we've only talked about and their ability to do bronze. Patel.
Bantu in Africa.
Bantu in Africa. Why is Bantu a perfect example of bronze metallurgy spreading from East Asia to the Bantu? Why? Why? Patel, why?
Because it's
There's a huge gap, people. We're talking about China to Africa. Does that show interregional trade?
Yes.
You need to be thinking of what is a solid example. Yes. Does bronze get from Shang to Mesopotamia? Yes. Is it really that big of a difference? Is it really the best example? No, but we can say for a fact, provide example. They spread metallurgy and what else? Bantu is spreading metallurgy and language. Guys, this is what we have been working for. These essays. Okay, identify and explain one change of development before 600 BCE that would support the author's assertion. So supporting trade, we have bronze. So go from East Asia to Africa. Okay, so this is A. Let's do B. Identify and explain two changes of development after 600 CE that would challenge the authors. When we say challenge, what does that mean? Challenge the author's assertion. So what are we trying to do? What are we trying to do, Vanessa? Okay, so what would be the opposite assertion? Didn't help. Interregional trade didn't help. Okay? Didn't help. Now, when you're thinking of it this way, okay? Interregional trade, cultural lines have played a crucial role in human history, being perhaps the most important external stimuli to change. External stimulation has been the most important single source of change and development, art, science, and technology. Perhaps this goes without saying, since no human group could invent itself more than a small part of its culture and technical heritage. Okay? No group could do that. Okay, so looking at period 3, because that's where we're in, how can we answer B? What group disputes this? What thing disputes it? You have a wide open realm to say that interregional trade is not a good thing. Aiden.
Americas.
Okay, what? You can't just throw down Americas. What?
A lot of the Americas were isolated from the rest of the region of the world. They still developed.
Too vague. Give me a specific.
The Aztecs.
Okay, what about them?
They developed their own culture surrounding human sacrifice and their gods, even though they were completely isolated from all the other regions.
Okay, I'll take it. All right, so Aztecs. You cannot just say Americas. You have to be specifics. Okay. Now you got to refer it more. Small part of its culture and technical heritage. When you mention something that's really that far isolated, you have to explain how it impacts. Okay. So the Aztecs develop what, Aiden?
Culture-wise, like human sacrifices.
Okay. And let's throw technology in just to really concrete the proof. What is some technology the Aztecs have that no one else is using? Aiden.
Astronomy, calendars.
No. No, everyone's kind of using it by 3. Remember we have the astrolabe? What is something they have that no one else has? Isabella.
Chimpanas.
Chimpanas. Okay. Floating. Sitting. Okay. What is something else that happens in 3 that says trade is bad or is an example of one culture thriving on its own? Micah.
The
Bubonic plague is a perfect example. Okay, now with the Aztecs, I'm going to write isolation. Okay, why am I writing isolation? Because they're what? They're completely isolated, which makes it completely go against what he's saying, correct? All right, bubonic plague. Why is this a perfect example? Lauren.
Does it spread through interregional trade?
Spread through interregional trade. Kills 1/3 of Europe's population. Okay. All right, so we have the Aztecs, so an example of isolation, and then we have it's a negative. Now, every single time you have an essay, you need to plan it out. If you don't plan out your essays, you will get things wrong. If you sit here and hash it out, you're much less likely to get things wrong. You need to plan out your essays. When you get your prompts for your AP exam, it'll look just like this. You'll have your prompt and a bunch of empty space. You'll have a prompt and a bunch of empty space for all 4 sections. Underneath every single prompt, you need to sit there and you need to hash it out. So when you are writing, this part is much faster than this, which you're going to see here in a few minutes when I write it out for you. Okay? C, identify and explain one reason why trade increased in 600 BCE to 600 CE, which is period 2. This is C. What is happening in period 2 that is increasing trade, keeping in mind the prompt, which is interregional trade is a good thing. Art, science, technology, everything harps back to the prompt. What do we got? Max?
The Greeks with their policies.
No. It's not interregional trade if you're trading with other Greeks. And they're only in the Mediterranean basin. Wrong. No. Yes.
The Silk Roads.
What about it?
When they started, so then
How are you going to explain that?
I don't know.
Exactly. So no. Dean?
Persians' extensive road system allowed for trade between the Middle East and Europe.
Okay. And Asia. It's going to connect. So, major technology. Persian road system. Persian road system. What is it? Is it art, science, or technology? It's technology. Increases trade between Middle East Europe, and Asia. Foundation of what, Lauren? There you go. Do you see how if you went that way, you can justify it. If you just say Silk Road is too vague, you got to come up with all the foundations. What?
Monsoon winds.
The monsoon winds you could have done, but we only need one, so we're going on. Monsoon winds, yes, that's a technology, and you could have used it. But Silk Road is the best one. Okay, here we go. If I have it down, you have it down. Everyone should have white line paper. Let's go. There's some on my shelf. If you take paper and you use a lot of my paper, which means you owe me paper, everyone's clear on that, correct? Whether you buy it for me next week or you buy it for me at the end of the year, I don't care. All right, when you are writing, the good thing about the short essay questions is that you can literally write A, B, C as you're going through, and that's nice. They are not thesis-based. However, they are stimulus-based, which means you have to cite the prompt. You have to use the prompt. You can't just write whatever the hell you want. They will not score it. Everyone's clear on that, correct? So you're going to write down everything I have. If I don't finish, which I'm very much so going to, you have to finish it. This is how we do every essay. I write one in class. You finish it and write the other one. Everyone's clear? When you're writing your one this weekend by yourself, you need to follow my format. I'm not just sitting here doing it, just making no nonsense. There's a pattern. You're going to see how it flows. That's exactly what you need to do. You need to have the one I wrote out and the one you will be writing. Everyone's clear on that, correct? Here we go. Okay, so every time before you start writing, identify and explain one change or development before 600 BCE that would support the author's assertion above. So, Philip Curtin believed that trading interregionally leads to the development of art, science, and technology. Okay, so the question says, this supports the author's assertion. We have just addressed the author's assertion, so the reader knows we understand what the primary source is saying, correct? Congratulations, you just earned a point. Okay? A prime example of interregional trade that facilitates the growth of technology. Why am I specifically saying technology? Why am I saying technology? Why am I saying technology, Vanessa? Okay, I have to be specific, but why am I saying technology? Why specifically am I saying technology, Maya? Well, yeah, we have an example of technology, but why am I choosing technology? And there's a reason, people. Why am I using technology? Why am I clearly saying technology? Max.
Because that was the biggest change.
Guys, it's in my damn prompt, yeah? By me saying I'm using technology, it shows that I'm using the prompt. That is the language you need to be doing. I'm modeling what you should be doing. If the prompt says art, science, and technology, what are the only things we're going to discuss? Art, science, and technology. I specifically write it down so they know, I know what the prompt is. It makes it easier for them to give me points. At the end of the day, we want as many points as we can get. So that's why we restate the prompt. That's why we use the language they provide. Does that make sense? Okay, so a prime example of interregional trade that facilitates the growth of technology would be bronze metallurgy. Okay, so introduced, I summarized what the primary source is talking about. I've now introduced, using the key vocabulary, what I'm going to discuss. Bronze began with the Shang dynasty in East Asia. Why is it so incredibly important that I'm saying East Asia? Sophia? I'm talking about regions. I'm talking about regions. You speak in regions. Bronze began with the Shang dynasty in East Asia. By the time the Zhou came into power, bronze began leaking out of East Asia via trade routes. The Bantu in Africa were recipients of this new technology, and they spread it throughout Africa along with their language. Okay, so I've talked about two different regions, Africa, East Asia. I've used information like Bantu, Zhou, Shang. Okay, do you see that if you read this, you know what I'm talking about? That you have faith because I'm citing this much evidence that I know what I'm talking about. That's what you have to do. You can't just say, oh, well, the Bantu spread it. No. You have to give me information. They're going to spread metallurgy and their language. That gives me proof I know who the hell the Bantu are. I need to be able to express what's happening in East Asia by dropping Shang and Zhou. I know what is happening at this time. That is how you earn your points. You can't just say, well, it started in China but got to Africa. That's not how this works. You will get a point right here. I've got 5. Do you see the difference? Okay. Question B. Okay. Identify and explain two change or developments after to 600 CE that would challenge the author's assertions. When we say challenge the authors, it means what, Jack?
So contradict their statement.
Contradict their statement. There we go. So Philip Curtin's belief that trade improved society due to its improvement in art, science, and technology are proven inaccurate with the examples of Aztec accomplishments and the impact of the bubonic plague. Okay, so in this one, what I've done, I have introduced his ideas, and because I have to take the opposite opinion, Philip Curtin believed that trade has improved society due to its improvement of art, science, and technology are proven inaccurate with the examples of. I've taken it, I've restated the prompt, I've used the guy that they're referring to, and I have shown that it's inaccurate and used my 2 examples. Everyone's clear on what just happened. So now all I have to do is I have to prove my opinion of why he's inaccurate. So we'll start with the Aztecs. The Aztecs in the Americas. Why is it important that I say the Americas? It's regions. The Aztecs in the Americas were isolated from Europe and the Old World during period 3 and had limited exposure to natives in South America and North America. Okay? As you can see, we're building our argument. Especially when you're talking about how they're in isolation, you have to build that argument. Do we understand that? Okay, so the Aztecs in America were isolated from Europe and the Old World during period 3, and trade was limited exposure to natives in South America. In their isolation, the Aztecs became the most developed religion and society based on the idea of human sacrifice. The Aztecs also developed the Chapana's system to float their crops and their city due to limited space in their city. The system to float their crops and their city due to limited space in their city. This technology was not found anywhere else in the world. There you go. So we've argued that they're isolated. We've argued that they're the only ones to develop human sacrifice in the most sophisticated way. And we've argued that they have a technology system that they're the only ones in the world to have developed. Sounds good? Okay, so now we're done with the Aztecs. Now what's our next focus? The plague. Interregional trade. Led to the death of 1/3 of Europe's population during period 3 due to increased trade, faster routes, and a more connected trading system. The bubonic plague traveled from East Asia to Europe with devastating consequences. This trade disaster will transform Europe's ability to trade, run its governments, and stop cultural advancements. Why am I saying all this stuff? Why am I saying Europe's ability to trade, run its governments, and stop cultural advancement? Why, Lauren?
Relates back to the prompt.
There you go. It relates back to the prompt. Everything I'm doing is to answer the prompt fully and completely. That is how you earn points. Okay, C. Identify and explain one reason why trade increased in the period of 600 BCE to 600 CE. This is period 2. We said Persian roads. Curtains. Belief that culture, that interregional trade. Will facilitate. Current's belief that interregional trade will facilitate growth in technology can be seen with the use of roads. The Persians were the first to use this new technology in the Middle East to facilitate both trade and war. This will later spread to Europe. Romans were the largest road builders. And into East Asia, parentheses, the Han. The largest road builders. There you go. Curtin's belief that interregional trade will facilitate the growth of technology can be seen in the use of roads. The Persians were the first to use this new technology in the Middle East to facilitate both trade and war. This later spread to Europe. The Romans were the largest builders, and into East Asia, where they'll be based. This new road system is the foundation of the Silk Road, which will transform both trade, technology, and support cultural diffusion. Why did I that last part? Toss it back to the prompt. There you go. Question 1's done. Okay, the entire time I'm writing, I'm constantly keeping in mind my prompt. If they're talking about art, science, and technology, what am I talking about? Art, science, and technology. If they are referencing the prompt, and the guy who wrote whatever quote, or chick, whoever, there's not going to be that many ladies, let's be honest. You need to reference it. You need to pull the information quickly and concisely. By me saying the Romans were the largest in Europe and East Asia, that gives me power and pull, gets me points. All right, let's go to 2. The more you do this weekend, the better your life is. I guarantee it. Here we go. All right, question 2. Answer all the parts of the question that follows. Identify and explain 3 ways in which rulers legitimize or consolidate their power during the period of 600 BCE to 600 CE. Use specific examples from 1 or more states. So we need 3 things in which rulers legitimize. What does the word legitimize mean? Legitimize. Max.
They made it stronger.
Stronger. Okay, or consolidated. What does consolidated mean? Consolidated means what, Aiden?
Like condense.
Condense, what word do we always use when we talk about centralized? The more centralized something is, the more effective it is. So, when you are building your argument, do you think it's better to focus in just one region or in multiple regions? Multiple regions shows depth. Multiple regions scores more. Okay? Now, what period are we in? 2. This is period 2. If you start writing about period 3, everything is wrong. So, when we talk about period 2, we are talking about rulers. So we are talking about individuals. Okay? The first thing I would do when you're facing a prompt like this is come up with your empires. Your empires. What are the major empires that are existing in period 2? Max, give me one. Persians. Give me another one, Sophia. Persians. Oh my God. Period 2, sweetie. Persians. What else is going on along with the Persians? Jack. Romans. What else? Max. Greeks. Who else is around? If you don't know, there's a wall in the back that has everything up there. Maya. The chin. Absolutely. Okay, what else? Isabella. The Maorin. Absolutely. The Maorin. Okay. Who else? Jack. Han. The Han is a big one. When you're sitting in this room, I have everything on the back. Now you guys threw out Greeks, which I'm fine with. But why is the Greeks wrong? There's only really maybe one example you could use for the Greeks, but it would be kind of hard to sell. Why should we cross off the Greeks? Because it's too difficult. Lauren.
Because they're like little city-states,
They're not really what? They're not centralized. You could make the push for what ruler? Because remember, we're dealing with people. You could make a push. Aiden, who? No, that wasn't the one I was thinking of. Because he is in one city-state. He's not centralizing the empire. Who is the one Greek you could say who's going to try centralizing power to a degree? Dean. Alexander of Macedonia. Alexander the Great. However, does he centralize power, though? No. So we got to cross them off because he is going to leave generals behind, remember? And what will eventually become a theme system. All right. You do not have to finish. You're just finishing. You're just writing prompt 1. Is that fair? Okay. We didn't get far enough, so. Huh? You are doing question 1 on period 3. Everyone gets that, correct?
Can I see your, like, the last part of it?
Here, it's right here.
It's right here for you. No, it's too much.
Does that help? Not to be harsh, but if you don't know your periodization, like, everything's wrong. So it's better you... It does. Everything has periodization on it. Everything does, because if you don't know it, you are in big...